direction. Just look around and find at least something good. All you need will come to you. I'll never end your stare.
Welcome back to Two Canadians at Kafe Lise, a Vigor Podcast. It's episode 16. I'm one of your hosts, Dr. Anton, and with me is
DJ Spencer.
All right. And today we're going to be doing a little bit of a preview of the upcoming 8.1 update. The info that we'll be sharing with you is all from partners and from the devs. So it's we don't have any first-hand knowledge. We're just reporting based on what's been shared out there. So, if you want more info, you want to see it, definitely check out some partners. Check out some of their videos from when they were showing off the changes, and look on YouTube for some of the ones who post to YouTube as well. There's some good videos out there.
We could post some links in the description and stuff too.
Yeah, definitely. So we will. Yeah, any ones that we know of, we'll try to post some forwarding links on there for you, so you can also check them out. But yeah, so we're just going to be talking about what we see coming up, some of the changes they made, and what we think about them. So, it's a little something like that. So it should be hopefully fun. So now that we're doing it as a preview as well, when it actually does release, who knows if we'll talk about it again, other than maybe if there's anything new that we didn't cover here, maybe we'll mention it on an episode then. But I don't think we'll go into as much detail as we're going to go here again, because why kick that horse, dead horse again.
Yeah, it would almost be like a repeat episode. So
yeah,
who knows, we might not even cover the 8.1 update.
Yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see how
we'll talk about it.
Yeah, unless there's like some major changes from now and then.
Yeah.
Then we might, but yeah, for now we'll just go as it is. So we'll just start off. One of the big things, and this is something they've been hinting at for a while now, is legacy seasons. Looking forward to it actually, because I didn't come into this until season 4, DJ at the end of season 3. So, and there are definitely seasons maybe early on where I didn't complete the season. So even going back on a season that I've done to redo it is cool. They're going to be starting then. I know they had said that it's coming in 8.1, but was it like right at 8.1, or was it going to be a little after 8.1? I can't remember now.
I kind of heard like different things.
I
heard someone say that it was going to be at the same time as the 8.1 update, and then someone else had kind of mentioned shortly after the 8.1 update.
So it may not be right at 8.1. So just be aware that it might, 8.1 may hit, and the first season, which is going to be season 1 that they're doing, the preppers season, may not be available right away. Might be a little bit after. We'll see.
Yeah.
But it is kind of cool. It's like not quite. It's a little less than half cost, because a typical season's 690 crowns, I believe.
Well, don't forget, back then.
Were they different? I don't even know what they were.
Yeah, back then, seasons actually cost way more than that. I think it was like 960 crowns or something like that. And it dropped in season, I want to say 5, but I might be wrong, where they dropped the prices to what it currently is at, which is 690, right?
Yeah, and I don't remember what it was when I started in 4, because I did I did buy the battle pass in 4, and I don't remember if it was 690 or more. I thought it was the same, but maybe it went down. That's a year ago now, and I can and the whole pandemic's happened, and so it's like I don't remember anything anymore.
But yeah, back then the seasons cost a bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, like 330 crowns is like actually like really good deal, and you actually get 375 crowns back.
Yeah, so it is definitely worth the money, because you're going to get it back. You don't, and it's only the paid tier that is unlockable. They're not doing the free tier again. The free tier is typically where we would get crates. So it won't be crates, I don't believe. It's mostly going to be the stuff like plans, weapons, cosmetics, skins, that kind of thing, and crowns that came in the paid tiers usually. I know this one, and looking at it, I thought it was kind of cool because this is the season. Apparently, I didn't even know this until I saw someone going through the things. This was the season that had the steampunk skins for weapons, and I really
Okay.
liked the steampunk skins. Like there's been a couple that I've purchased through the Crown store, oh, since they came out. One was for the G3, and one was for the PPSH. But apparently, there's also a few others. I know there's like a grease gun one,
Mm,
grease gun, but still.
yeah.
And I think the Sami has one, and I'm not sure if there might be some others as well. But there's
Yeah.
some various skins that I've liked. They're coming in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think there was some gun skins that actually like the steampunk ones
Yeah.
that came in Junkers too, right? Like they added some more,
Well,
I
yeah,
believe.
Junkers.
So
I wouldn't necessarily. Junkers wasn't necessarily steampunk. But they were unique skins. Like Junkers
okay,
had like, the RPK 74 had a couple different skins. One was like kind of like covered in stickers, kind of, and I think
okay,
one was also like I want to say like the emergency or cautionary kind of. I don't know if it's sure if it was tape or whatever skin. I think that was on the RPK 74. The shotgun, the sawed off that came in Junkers had a couple special skins. So they've been doing
hmm
that for the last few seasons, where guns that they've released in those seasons came with a couple skins at least. Because the
yeah,
Renegades had some interesting skins for the Swish. I think it was a Swish. Yeah, it was a Swish that had some really interesting skins. The Magnum, the Smith and Wesson Magnum. But yeah, they've been doing that for a while. So, but yeah, there's some good skins coming in the Preppers one, so definitely worth it. There's
yeah,
no rush to get it either, so you don't have to get it right at the beginning of a season or anything, because as soon as you unlock it, you're completing it at your leisure. So,
yeah,
um, as long as it takes us, and it's going to complete at the same time as your current battle pass, anyways. Like, so if you haven't finished it, it'll just keep going. If you have finished your current battle pass, then you'll be working on this battle pass. So it's sort of,
yeah.
yeah, it's kind of cool. I like it. I don't know how much experience is going to. It's probably going to be similar experience per levels. Yeah, how much you need to get from one level to the next. So it gets pretty high near the ends. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Did you notice? Were there experience upgrades? There may not have been.
Oh, like the boosters?
Yeah, there may not have been
Uh,
boosts. I don't know if there's boosters or not. I don't. Yeah,
yeah, I honestly don't remember seeing it from
yeah.
any of the streams or the YouTube videos.
Because it would be kind of weird for the legacy season to have boosters when you're getting boosters from the primary battle pass as well. So I don't think you would have any boosters in the legacy. I wouldn't think,
Well,
anyways.
I don't think it would stack from like the current
Well, it's
battle.
taking. Well, I guess it depends if it's taking the experience that you're currently earning and applying it also to applying it to your current battle pass, but also applying it to
No,
the
no, no, no. It doesn't do that. It's one or the other. You basically activate your the legacy battle pass, and you're doing that one, or you're doing the current season.
Are you sure about
It's
that?
not yeah, it's not concurrent.
I thought it was. I thought they had said at one time that it was, but I could.
Yeah, I don't think it is. So you're doing one or the other.
Okay, I don't know. We'll see.
Because that kind of defeats the purpose of having like a different battle pass to complete, right?
Well, I thought it was something that you were working towards to get the skins and everything that was happening concurrently with what you're doing in the game.
That's I don't think so.
Okay.
From my understanding is like it's a separate battle pass altogether, and then you it's like you basically like activate it, right? So then say season 9 comes around, then it's like you kind of like go in and you disable it or whatnot, and then you start off on season 9. That's how it's you go at your leisure, right? Because it's like
Uh,
whenever you're ready to go is I wanted to
Disable
finish
it though. I
season.
don't. Yeah, I don't recall anyone. Well, yeah, I don't like when they were showing it on the preview build. I don't think I don't know if anyone actually ever tried to do it. So I didn't see if there was a way to disable it or not. So I guess that's up in the air. I don't 100% understand then what they're doing. So I
Okay.
guess we'll see how it goes. I guess so.
Yeah.
We don't know, but it looks
Yeah.
interesting anyways. It's the stuff that the stuff you're going to get is nice. And then
Yeah.
They're saying that the community is going to vote on the next season after that. So we'll see how that
Yeah.
plays out too.
Yeah, they kind of mentioned it in the dev stream, so it's kind of interesting because I want to say like almost a month ago there was a dev stream,
Right.
and like things change all the time, right? And I remember I'm pretty sure it was Zane who had said when Legacy seasons launch, seasons 1 and 2 are going to be like on the go or like the ones released, and
Right.
potentially season 3. And now it's like it's just season 1, and in the last dev stream they mentioned that they might put it to a community vote, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But in a way, like for like myself or even you, Doc, um, like we haven't completed the first 3. Well, like I haven't completed the first 3 or 4 seasons,
Yeah.
but I own season 3 and on. So like in my opinion, I'd be more interested in like getting one of those early seasons like 2 or 3, so I could start finishing those battle passes.
Yeah.
While like the community itself, like you have Switch that started off later in season what, 5,
5. I think 5.
5 or 6, no, 5.
I think it's 5.
And then you have the PlayStation that jumped aboard on season 6. Yeah, it must be season 5 for the Switch. Um, so I'm wondering if like the PlayStation community, they might say they may want the bugle plans because they haven't gotten them out of crates yet, or
Yeah.
the portable plan, right? So they may go for those seasons as well, but we'll see.
Yeah. We'll see how they do their voting. It might just be a Twitter vote, might be something else. So yeah. Yeah, but it's interesting. So I guess that's up in the air. We'll see what they do for that. But at least we know they're starting with season 1 preppers. All
Yeah,
right. So next is going to be consumable changes. Why don't you take us through some of this?
sure. So they've reworked a lot of this. I
They really
find.
have. Yeah.
So we'll start off. So big hot topic for a while, I guess, is the portables and the armor plates. They're actually getting bumped up to special issue gold items. Um, Now, from what I've seen, similar to what they did with the Raffica when they increased the rarity, um, the stats aren't changing. So, like the crafting time, the materials,
Yep.
none of that has changed yet, or the deconstruction materials that you get back haven't changed. But they've, I guess we'll talk about the stacking.
It's more, and
Um,
that's more of the reason they're changing them to gold is to do with stacking. Yeah.
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 So consumable stackings, now you're limited to 1 stack of each consumable in your inventory. Now special issues are going to stack as 2. Military grade, which is purple, is going to be stacks of 3. Uh, Blues rare is going to be stack of 4s. Uncommon is green, stack of 5s. And the common consumables, which are white, are going to be stacks of 6.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I kind of like it because it's going to kind of like, you're not going to have people go in with a ton of ports and armor plates like a lot of sweaty people.
Yeah.
I think it's actually going to change a lot of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Both solos and like duo trios. But like if you think about it, like if you're in a trio, everyone has like 2 portables.
That's still 6 portables.
That's still 6.
Yeah,
right?
out there. Yeah.
So that's still quite a few.
But when you're playing
But-
duos and trios, you expect it to be a sweatier game anyway.
Yes.
So I don't think it's as big a deal. So that's fine. But it's the solos that it really makes the difference. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be different. Now, if you do find any consumable in the match itself, either like you find it in like a loot POI, or you kill someone and they had like portables or armor plates, you can pick them up. It doesn't count against that stack size. It's only that initial amount into the encounter that those numbers apply.
Right.
And then a couple other changes too. Caffeine is actually getting switched over to a rare, a blue item.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah.
I'm curious as to why. I didn't.
Maybe it
I
has to do with the people who are using lots of caffeine for sniping, because that was a big thing.
well, that that's not a bad thought.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I couldn't think of anything. Like honestly,
yeah.
like
That's the only reason, because I never take it in. I'm never taking caffeine in. If I find caffeine in there, sure, I'll use it,
yeah,
but I'm not
yeah,
taking it in with me. So
yeah. Like we talked about it, right? Like in
yeah,
episode 14, right? But the consumable heals is like caffeine. It's like we'll use it if we find it, but other than that, like
yeah.
it's like
And
I'll
that's the only
deconstruct
reason
it.
I could think of it being. And I know, I'm sure it's really popular with people who go in with snipers and want to be able to hold the scope in for long amounts of time, right?
Yeah.
So,
Or if you want to race to like a certain like signals or a certain loot
oh
POI first.
yeah,
But yeah,
but even then, stacks of four, like starting out with a stack of four is
yeah,
seems like quite a bit to me, anyways.
yeah, it's
So,
still a lot.
still a lot of
I
caffeine. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe that's not even the answer. I honestly
yeah,
don't know. I couldn't think of a reason why to do
no,
that.
no.
The other change too was the fake glint goes down from a rare to a common, so a white. Um,
I'm wondering if that's like people weren't using them, so they want people to use them more. That must be it.
I That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Because I again like you know I said I don't use it unless I have a challenge.
yeah,
Or if sometimes I want to goof off on like Sogbrook and kind of put them on the cliff along that middle section there. But um, yeah, so that's a different change.
yep,
Um, and then another change going back to the armor plates. Uh, a couple tweaks there. You could probably it's definitely a nerf is if you get shot with a gun that would give you stagger you, it will now apply apparently. And then the other thing would be the damage bleed off, where say your plate has, you know, 5 HP left. In the past or currently in, I guess, the live environment,
yeah,
if you get shot, the plate's taking the full impact. In the new update, the damage would be 5 and then on top of your HP. So you'd actually take health damage as well, which honestly I think is great. It probably should have been that way from the get go. I'm pretty sure I kind of mentioned it earlier when plates came out or
right.
in the past, but a lot of people have asked for that, and it's actually come around. So I think it's pretty good.
Yep.
It's going to change the way fights are because it's one less shot, right? That someone can take.
Hmm.
Um, so I think this is a actual great change to armor plates.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
but yeah,
good, definitely. Because people complain about how people take, well, now they're limited to two. Sure, not that
yeah,
people, and there used to be that each armor plate took up a single slot. Now it's you get two armor plates in
a
one
stack of
slot,
two.
but then that's it. That's all you can take in with you. But yeah, I didn't. I wasn't even really aware of the stagger thing. Whereas if you got hit in the armor with a weapon that would cause stagger, you weren't getting staggered, because it just shows how much I was using armor. So it's like I only took armor in if I was doing any kind of duos and stuff. So
Yeah,
it wasn't on my radar really. So that's interesting, and the damage bleed makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Um, and the other thing that could affect some of this, now that you're limited to a single stack and stacks are certain sizes, might have to do a little bit with challenges. If you're trying to do a challenge where you have to put out
Oh,
transmitters or put out glints, then you're going to
yeah.
be limited to how much you can take. Like if you're one of those people who try to take, I need to do 10 glints, so I'm going to take all 10 glints with me at once and throw them out.
Yeah,
Then you won't be able to do that. But so it might take you a couple tries to get them all out.
yeah.
But it can
Oh,
affect
and
little things like that. Yeah.
yeah, and I guess the big thing, I don't think I mentioned it when we were talking about the stack sizes, is the duping issue, right?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
It's going to definitely help that. Now, I think it's a really good step in the right direction. Is it going to get rid of it completely? Probably not, but I think it's going to definitely hinder them
Yeah,
and make it a little more difficult to do like a massive amount of duping.
yeah,
So
you'll be able to do two portables at a time, so and two armor plates at a time. So it's like you're not going to get a lot,
yeah,
unless you're doing weapons as much as you can for other things. Whatever.
yeah,
Okay, it's definitely going to make a difference for sure.
yeah,
And you won't see videos of Fox anymore, or new videos of Fox running around with a whole bunch of iodine trying to stay alive in the radiation for as long as
yeah.
possible.
Or
that that takes
the
care of
one.
that.
Yeah, there was one. He was trying to crash a server too with contact bombs on
Oh,
Sogbrook.
oh, really? I was thinking
So he had
mortars
like a
too, but
full,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, he had full stacks of like contact bombs, and they put it on like the, I guess you could call it the concourse there in the middle.
yeah.
So that was kind of fun. But yeah,
Uh,
I guess that's going to kind of put an end to that kind of stuff.
It'll put an
And
end to people doing fireworks displays with mortars, like taking in a whole bunch of mortars and just setting them off as well.
oh yeah, like War Dog.
Yeah, War Dog
Uh,
or Lonnie was, they were doing for like I don't know if it was a birthday or some kind of
oh yeah, for
something.
her birthday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a whole bunch of mortars being set off. Yeah,
yeah,
that won't be as impressive now. Everyone, let's get everybody to bring two in and everyone gather here and set them
yeah,
off. Yeah.
exactly. But
Okay.
see, now we
Yeah.
need now we need custom lobbies then, if that's the case, right? Because then
Yeah.
every person in the lobby could bring like the full sack that they can, the maximum, and then they could go to town, right?
Yeah. Exactly. That would be kind of cool if you could do private. If they ever
Yeah,
got to the point where they could do private servers and you could get a whole bunch of people onto a same server. Yeah.
yeah,
That's for sure. Okay, so yeah, that's the big things about consumables. The next couple are both things that kind of affect the shelter,
yeah,
or when you're in the shelter and you're going to do something. The first one is when you're going into an encounter. You're going to get, if you don't have a gun or ammo, it'll prompt you saying, "Hey, you're going into the thing. You're not equipped. Blah blah blah. Do you want to do this?" So it's just a little reminder saying, "Oh, you forgot to do something. You forgot you may have forgotten to bring something with you." So
yeah.
that's cool. You can turn that warning off so that you don't get the warning. So I
Hmm.
guess it depends. If you're someone who's forgetful and you try to go from encounter to encounter and then you forget to reload your thing, like your preset or something,
Yeah,
turning off that warning won't help you because then you might just keep forgetting to do that kind of thing. Um,
yeah,
but it's a neat little addition though. So if you're doing
yeah,
like Zero to Heroes or whatever, getting that little reminder could be annoying, but it's still kind of it's a neat little thing. It's good for
yeah,
new players especially. It's more of a new player thing. Hey, you're going in with a weapon, like, oh crap, I forgot to load a weapon or something. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because I've seen, or like I've seen new players like on their, because I like popping into like new player streams,
Yeah.
and like they'll bring a gun, but they don't know that they need to bring ammo as well,
Mm,
right? So it's like in this case here, it's like it'll let them know, hey, like you don't have any ammo. So
yeah.
I honestly think it's a good thing.
Yep. Well, it's not
And
bad.
honestly, yeah, like you see it on like basic like websites and stuff like that too, right? Like,
Hmm.
or applications where it's like there's a prompt and then it's like, do you not want to see this anymore or not? And
Yeah,
it,
you can turn it
it
off.
yeah, it's just a friendly, user friendly UI, right? So
Yeah.
definitely a good thing.
Yeah, that's definitely a good little thing. It's not game changing in any way, but it's a nice little quality of life. And then the next one is to do with shelter upgrades. And I didn't even know about this one. DJ was telling me about it before we started recording.
Yeah,
But apparently, a couple partners have talked about it in videos. Has to do with when you go to build a shelter upgrade. You still have to get all the materials for it, so you have to have the appropriate amount of materials. But as soon as you start the upgrade, you'll now have the prompt, or not prompt, but there'll be a thing on the screen saying you can auto complete it for a certain amount of crowns. And
yeah,
the amount of crowns is going to be based on the level and what potentially the upgrade is. Certain upgrades
yeah,
would be more pricey than other upgrades. I didn't
yeah,
even realize this is a thing, so it is surprising to me. I'm not sure what the point of it is. Like other than maybe a way to generate revenue. And you know what? That's
Yeah.
fine. If they're trying to look for new ways to help bring in some more revenue, cool. That's
Yeah.
fine. Did they need to make it like an instant craft? Who knows? Um,
Yeah.
we're a little bit of different opinions. I don't think it's a game changer. Like, I don't think it's going to be like a huge thing. I think DJ's a bit more worried about it.
Yeah. It's because I enjoy the grinding aspect of this game,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's one of the great thing about Vigor is the grind.
Mm-hmm.
It's addictive. Uh, to like basically like let someone just buy an upgrade essentially. Like yeah, you have to grind to get the resources and stuff like that.
And it's only
I just
buying in that you're not waiting the amount of time it's going to take to normally build it. So you still
yeah
have to have like 10,000 chemicals to get to whatever level of,
yeah
of chemical distillation.
yeah.
It's just instead of having to wait 5 days for it to finish building, you can pay that off.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Um, I I think like it may be a little extreme.
yeah,
Like we kind of talked about it
hmm
because like for the weapons and consumable crafting, you could decrease the crafting time by half, right? With
right,
crowns,
yeah,
and you know you could keep doing that like half type thing, and it'll just keep costing you crowns. Like I would have been kind of like, okay, I think that would have been a little better approach
right.
for the shelter upgrades, but um, yeah, I don't know. And you had a good point just before we started, was it'd be interesting to find out after the fact
hmm
how many people actually use this feature.
Yeah,
Um, and it kind of goes with like a lot of the like everything, all the changes, right? I'd be curious, like uh, how many people like actually like reload or fix their loadouts because of the prompt, and uh, how many people now like bring in more caffeine or whatnot because now it's they increased it to like rare, and
or they made it
now
so that
they
you're
only need
limited to
four.
four. Yeah,
Yeah,
it would be neat to see like those kind of stats, like what was the average amount of caffeine before the change and now after the change. Yeah,
yeah. It'd be kind of cool to see that kind of stuff.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I honestly don't know if I really like this feature, but
yeah.
we'll see.
I don't know either. Like it's not something I'm going to take advantage of because I don't, I just look to build something. I'm never in like, oh, I can't wait till it's done. It's like, okay, whatever. I'll build it. I'll just keep playing the game, and then in however many days in a week it'll be done. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Next thing. And
yeah,
usually, yeah, I build. I always, I have like three or I think I'm on the Xbox level 4 of my generator, which means I can build like 4 or 5 different things at
mhm,
the same time, anyways.
yeah,
So it's not like I'm that I guess is where it could be a big difference is people who haven't built up their generator. Because if you're on level 1 of the generator, you can only build one thing at a time. Now you can spend crowns to auto complete that thing, so you can go
yeah,
on to another thing. So I guess that's where you could sort of you're bypassing the need to make a generator if you want to spend crowns.
yeah,
So and the generator
yeah,
only goes up to level 5 anyway, so it's not like but it's still resources you have to spend, and a lot of it is metal.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And like honestly, like they did mention it in the last dev stream is like they want community feedback for like they mentioned specifically the next topic we're going to talk about,
Yeah.
like the changes to SG1 and H bars. But like if the community loves it, this shelter upgrade thing, then they'll keep it. If there's a lot of negative feedback, maybe they'll change it back, or maybe they'll change it where it's like decrease the time in half, like the consumables or the gun crafting.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah. Absolutely. So we'll just see how it goes. But it would be kind of cool to get some stats. I know they do sometimes release little things on Twitter saying, "Hey, this is blah blah blah, this has been used so much or whatever." But it would get to, and it's kind of boring, and you'd have to have somebody who has to actually compile these stats and put them out there for people. But it'd be kind of cool to see the different things, like how much is getting used, what gets used the most, that kind of stuff. All right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like when they put out the consumable questions, right? Like
Yeah.
which consumable do you have to bring in, right? And I think
But
they had said like 90% of respondents said the portables, right? So
yeah,
they're like,
well,
okay, so
even though sometimes they would come back and they would give us little stats from a previous season sometimes. Like they have
yeah.
sort of tweeted that kind of stuff out too. But I can't think of off the top of my head what one of those stats might have been, but they have done stuff like that. So it would be cool to get a little bit more of that.
Well,
Um,
I remember there was like how many people were killed by airdrops and stuff like that.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I love that one.
That one's
That was
awesome.
like genius.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen.
Oh,
It's
I
never
have
happened
too.
to me though.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh yeah, like like I we're both in IT, right? So it's
Yeah.
like something like this. I love seeing stats and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just the way I am. And
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
anyways,
All right. Let's move on. The next thing is weapon changes. So why don't you take us through weapon changes?
yeah. So definitely another hot topic.
Mm-hmm.
SG1 and H bars have been nerfed. Um, Now the SG1, uh, the clip size is going to match the G3,
Right.
the Gewehr 3. So instead of a 30 clip plus one in the chamber, is going down to a 20 magazine, 20 bullet magazine with one in the chamber. Um,
Yeah.
Apparently the recoil is going to change and it's going to kind of match the Gewehr 3. And supposedly the damage changed as well. Um, Christopher Beast made a video with Bobo Rail talking about that. Um, so it's kind of interesting. The H bar, uh, same thing. There's going to be a some recoil changes and some damage change, where both guns you're going to have to hit or get more hits to
Yeah.
get the kill. And H bar and along with any guns with bipods, apparently now they work. So if
They're,
you are like standing
yeah.
or kind of crouched and you go to ADS in, you're actually going to see the bipods in your scope. But if you go down prone, you won't see them anymore because obviously like the bipods are actually facing
Yeah.
downwards, right?
There's like a little
So
animation for the bipod to extend out, which is kind of cool.
yeah, and it's like I like it, right? Because it's one of those like minor things, but it's those fine little touches, right?
Yeah.
That kind of perfects it. Um, like kind of when season 8 came out, um, they changed like the gun animations, right? Like holstering weapons and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It looked so much better, right? And I think this is like a continuation of this.
Right.
And this is one thing that I kind of like is like the devs are like paying very close attention to this, and like it seems like it's going to be a good thing down the line.
Right. Yeah.
Other It's going to propagate to other things, right? Where it's like they're going to like take a serious look at everything and fix it and kind of make it look really good. Um, Now the other thing that got buffed was the Parker Hale M82. Now this I haven't been able to actually see. I've just kind of like read.
Yeah.
So damage over distance is increased, and not just on Doc was saying not just on this gun, on all rifles.
Yeah. It's like they did like a thing on rifles had for damage over distance, and so it was like all rifles should be similar, I think. Yeah.
Okay. And then apparently now it is actually a one hit gun if you hit your shots.
Yeah.
As before, like it was not. It was taking like multiple hits, and even to get rid of armor, it was like multiple, like two hits or something like that to get rid of the armor, I believe. Um,
And I still think
so
range still has some of a factor in that. So I think it's one
yeah,
hit within 100 meters. Um, and it might
okay,
still be a little bit more than one hit if you're farther away. But I think the big thing is the damage drop off isn't as great as it was because it was dropping off significantly um,
okay,
prior to this update. So I think that's more. They did buff the damage for closer up, but the
yeah,
damage for how much it drops off at distance isn't as bad as it was, I believe. That was their intent.
okay.
Yeah, and I think that was
So
a
those
big thing. Yeah,
Yeah. So those are the weapon changes
Yeah,
that so far I've seen.
yeah, and it's kind of cool. And I'm thinking like with the SG1 damage changes, it's more. It's got to be more of an ammo change on that one. I don't know because you got to think that it's using the same ammo as the Gewehr 3,
Yeah.
so you would think that they should be similar in damage. One has a
Yeah.
scope and one doesn't. That's essentially the difference between the two now.
Yeah.
Um, so hopefully
And
it should be similar.
yeah, and this is definitely, like I kind of said before, this is a hot topic.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people kind of complain about like the nerfs, and then other
Mm.
people are like, hailing it because how it's about time. Like first of all, I want to personally try the guns before
Hmm.
I give my opinion on, like, oh my
Yeah.
god, it's like a big nerf, or because the recoil changed. Like the Raffica, some people said like it got nerfed into the ground and like you can't use it anymore. I don't think the Raffica is that bad.
No,
Like, yeah, it
it's
changed.
still a good gun.
Yeah, it's still a good gun, and it's
Yeah.
like it's still usable. Like, just you need to control the recoil, right?
Yeah.
And like it's not that bad. So depending on what happens with the SG1 and the H-bar, like who knows? I Someone mentioned that the recoil now for the SG1 is going to match the Gewehr 3
Right.
recoil.
Yeah.
So which makes sense, right? Because it's basically the same gun except there's attachments to it.
Yeah.
Um, Now the other thing is, like, the SG1 and H bars have been like probably the most prevalent gun for like the sweaty players for the
Hmm.
longest time. Um, so like essentially meta, but like I look at the ES16. It's
Yeah.
like you're telling me that's not meta? It's like, do you know how many people bring that out?
The ES16 or
Like AKM,
the bugle, like that
yeah,
thing
the
is
bugle.
a headshot magnet. It seems like it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and and that's the thing too, Doc, right?
Hmm.
Like, okay, so let's say it is a serious nerf to the SG1s and the H bars. Okay, again, I don't know if it actually is because I haven't
You
used it
haven't
yet.
used it. We haven't tried it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So let's say it is a serious nerf to both these guns. Now everyone is what, going to flock to the bugle and
Hmm.
whatever other weapon. So now are you just going to go and nerf the bugle and then something else? Like there's always going to be that popular meta gun, right?
Yep.
So it's like, don't get me wrong, if this actually changes it, like changes the meta, it might be a little refreshing because it's since I played, SG1s and H bars have been
Yeah, they've been
like
pretty
the top
much the top
sweats,
end.
right?
Yeah, you go
Um,
into a lobby and you see a bunch of H bars or SG1s, like, oh, here we go.
yeah,
Now
you
it's gonna
you
be,
know it's going to be a sweaty game,
now it's gonna be
right?
sweaty. Now it's gonna be, oh, here come the bugles and the M16s. Yeah, the
Yeah,
S16s.
so
So we'll see.
I, yeah, it's hard to know, right?
Yep.
Um, like I remember back in the day at Fortnite, double pump was the meta, right?
Yep.
And it's like they changed that, and then something else came along, and that was the meta. And then so like that was the one thing I really liked about the Raffica when it first came out, was it literally changed the meta,
Hmm.
or it seriously affected the meta, because you could go up against a SG1 or a H bar and you could destroy them, and then you take their guns, and not just like we talked about
Yeah.
it's a secondary weapon, so you have two primary weapon slots open that you can pick up guns for. Now I think there's still, like, in my mind, just because someone has an H bar or an SG1 doesn't mean like you're automatically going to lose either, right?
Right.
And same thing like later on, like if someone has a bugle, it doesn't mean you're going to lose automatically, right? There's still like the element of strategy and tactical play and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Time
It's
will
going to be
tell.
interesting how the meta changes, or
Yeah.
if it changes.
So I could actually, this is the one part of the update preview that I could see us coming back to is the weapon changes, to talk about how
mm,
the weapons, if even if it's not an episode on its own, just to bring it up
yeah.
again, just after we've had a chance to actually use these and see how the meta does change. So that might be an episode on itself, just the meta.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that could be the next one after 8.1. So we'll see how it changes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, that's the big changes for weapons. So that they've released it, and that's supposed to be coming. So that's going to be interesting. And all that's really left to talk about are just some of the bug fixes. So there's always been some bugs with the game, and there's some been long ones have been afflicting us for quite some time. And they finally, working with some partners, and they're able to finally figure out one of the big ones, which was the bloom bug. And I remember this one, and I think it's been in the game maybe from the beginning. I'm not 100% sure, but for sure, for as long as I've been playing it, it's the
yeah.
bloom bug. And for those who aren't 100% sure what the bloom bug is, if you haven't experienced it, it's not necessarily all weapons. It's like a good portion of weapons, especially the most popular ones. But it's where you're firing with the gun. You have your little reticle, and it starts out small. Depends on if you're crouching or not. It'll start out, maybe if you're crouching, it starts out kind of small. You're firing the gun, and naturally, as you're firing these guns, the bloom will get a bit bigger, just because you lose control of it. So it's supposed to be less accurate, right? Because of recoil and stuff. The big
Yeah.
thing is when you stop firing is if it goes back down to small again when you're not doing anything.
Mm,
And the bloom bug was it would not go back down to small, it would stay large. And so the way to combat that was melee with a weapon, and then it would go back to small. So they
yeah,
finally, figured it out. They replicated it, and it's supposed to be fixed.
yeah,
So that's really good news. That's been a bug that's been around a long time. I think it was G40 Chris
yeah,
who first brought it tried to bring it to their attention and worked with them
yeah,
to get them to figure out what was causing it,
yeah,
or how to get them to replicate it. So
yeah.
that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it it did get named the G40 bug,
The
right? So
G40 bug, yeah. So it's pretty cool that he was able to get them to finally figure it out. So I like that. So hopefully you see a lot of people running around swinging their guns during a
yeah,
combat in the middle of combat. So that's another one of those ones where we'll see how well it works once we're back. Once it's live. And there's probably some other bug fixes out there, but the only other one that I can think of off the top of my head that we're going to just mention is the lock container bug. So if you go to the lock container, and you're working on the locks, but then you try to use your gun, you might be able to pull your gun out, but then it won't fire. It'll be like almost like it's
mhm,
jammed or something, and you can't get it to work. There were ways around that too. Like I think I found I didn't run into a lot because I didn't run to container a lot, but I think I found reloading helped me so that I could start using it again. DJ mentioned switching weapons and switching back
yeah.
would do it. So
The one time it happened to me, I was like panicking. I'm like mashing buttons, and it's like, oh look, switching weapons worked.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
it never happens. Because I'm just like you, right? Like lock container is probably the last spot I go to. I'd
I,
rather go to time safe or Bard or something
yeah,
like that.
like I'll
In
rush
all
it if
honesty.
I'm right there. Like if I'm right next to it, or so close to it that I can rush there fairly quickly, then I'll rush there to try to get in there as quickly as possible and get it before someone else shows up.
Yeah,
Or and sometimes you get into fights, and then sometimes you have like 3 or 4 people around you, but that's just how it is.
yeah,
uh, but yeah, I didn't run into the bug a lot myself, but I did run into it, so I had
yeah.
encountered it. um, no word on the water, getting in and out of water bug. So I
Mm.
don't know if that's been addressed. I don't recall anyone mentioning that one, so that might still be a thing. And that's the bug where if you go through some water and then you get out and you find you can't crouch or lie down
Oh,
again, then you have to
yeah,
go back into the water and come back out, and then it works. That's a weird little bug that doesn't even happen all the time. So that's probably a really hard one for them to find. So I hadn't heard if that one had been touched, so I'm going to expect that one's still potentially around.
well,
Yeah,
supposedly like this has like a ton of bug fixes in like this update has a ton of bug fixes.
yeah,
So I do know for like when season 8 got released, uh they actually released a change log on the website, and like it
right,
was
yeah,
massive,
yeah,
right? So we're definitely going to have to check that out when this update drops because like don't get me wrong, I love it like because I don't know if you remember, Doc, like the older like season updates, you might get a little blurb about like certain like new tools or whatnot,
Yeah.
but then that was it, right? Now it's like we're getting full change logs, and it's like
Yep.
it there's quite the reading material now, so it's kind of nice. Like I like it. There's
Yep.
some stuff that is goes well over my head, like it's bugs I didn't even know about, but it's like, hey, I'll take it.
Yep. No,
It's
absolutely.
it's more transparency, right? And they've been working on it, so uh, yeah, I'm definitely going to have to like check that out. I'm going to assume that they're going to do the change log thing again. So
Yeah, I guess we'll find out when, and then
yeah,
this patch is supposed to be coming out within the first couple weeks of July. So I don't know if they didn't
yeah,
give an exact date yet, but it's like,
mhm,
within the first couple weeks. That's all we've already heard.
yeah,
So we're recording this. It's June 19th. So we're a couple weeks left in June almost. So we're looking at about a month. In about a month, approximately, that's when 8.1 should officially come out, and then we'll see.
yeah,
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's basically it. That's the 8.1. What's coming?
yeah. High
Um,
level stuff.
High level stuff, exactly. Yeah, high level because we can't actually test it ourselves. So let us know what you think. I know there's going to be a lot of this is going to be controversial because if you look on places like Facebook, you already see the people bitching and moaning about not being, oh, they're limiting how much I can. If I have the materials, I should be able to take what I want in, right? And it's like, oh,
Yeah,
yeah. And then they're just making it for the people who can't play. It's like, so you're telling me the people who take 20 portables are the ones who can play? Okay, I guess it's their definition of who can play. So whatever.
yeah,
It's all play styles, right? There are people who like to camp and stay still for a long time, and then there are people who just don't like that and run and then get really frustrated when they come across somebody who has been in this same spot for the whole match, right? So
yeah,
you're not going to please everybody. It's true,
yeah,
and don't think that just because they're starting to limit the portables and the armor, it's because they're trying to cater to people who can't play. They're also trying to fix larger systemic issues of people who dupe and do all these other
yeah,
things that goes very much against the nature, of the game. And
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying the people who are complaining are people who do these kind of things, but I wouldn't mind seeing that Venn diagram and seeing what the crossover is. We'll never know, but
yeah.
yeah.
Oh my
Anyways,
God. But yeah,
yeah. But
it's
anyways,
exciting. But bug fixes. Woo!
yeah. Bug fixes, lots of interesting stuff coming in 8.1. So eight's been a really good season, and I'm looking forward to 8.1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm kind
Actually,
of looking forward
I'm
to it.
curious. Like you mentioned the water bug. Now that
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it, I'm wondering about like rock glitching and stuff like that. I know it's gotten a little
Yeah.
better, but like there's still like
Mm-hmm.
that bug at some points,
Yeah.
and so that'd
And
be nice.
that is that necessarily a bug, or is that like a just taking advantage of rendering or weird stuff like that, where the gun, like
Mm,
the rock is rendered, but you can't tell, and from one point of view it looks like you're shooting over the rock, where another point of view
yeah,
looks like you're shooting through the rock, right? Like
yeah,
it's those weird little things like that. But yeah, yeah, no, it'd be kind of cool to see what. I'm looking forward to seeing the change log for sure.
same,
Yeah. All right.
definitely.
Well, that'll do it then. That's 8.1 preview. Thanks for listening. Let us know in the comments what you thought. Like, share, subscribe. We don't mind.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll get some more viewers. That'd be cool. But either way, if you don't, that's cool too. Just if you're watching this, we appreciate you.
yeah,
But until next time, stay safe in the Outlands and have a
yeah.
great night.
Bye.
I've heard you say you lost your way, lost direction. Just look around and find at least something good. All you need will come to you. I'll never refuse you. Take whatever you want, so just get a hold. I know you'll find your way. No need to go the same. Grab your chance and flame up your dream. I know you'll find your way. You must be calm anyway. Grab your chance and flame up your dream. Flame up your dream. It's time to leave the place where you are forced to fade away. You barely breathe, heart is breaking in the chest. I'll make you feel that it's not real. Your thoughts because of which you barely live. I'll never refuse you. Take whatever you want, so just get a hold. I know you'll find your way. No need to go the same. Grab your chance and flame up your dream. I know you'll find your way. You must be calm anyway. Grab your chance and flame up your dream. Flame up your dream. I know you'll find your way. No need to go the same. Grab your chance and flame up your dream. I know you'll find your way. You must be calm anyway. Grab your chance and flame up your dream. Flame up your